Hi guys, I believe I am live right now. And if you are hopping on early, good for you. The workshop officially starts at 12:15. So I am a little early. I already tested my tech earlier, so I'm pretty sure it's all good to go. I am live on LinkedIn as well as my private Facebook group that I run called Redefining Aches and Aging for Women. But today, because I am on LinkedIn as well, we are welcoming everyone because you know what? We all have a core. And we all really want to be connected to our core, I think. So I'm going to officially start in about 2 minutes. Just going to wait for everyone to kind of trickle in. If you're watching and you want to let me know where you're watching from, I would love to know. You can type in the comments below where you're watching from. You can type that in the comments below in either platform, Facebook or LinkedIn. So I hope that you're having a great Monday. It's sunny and beautiful here in Ottawa, a little chilly, but can't complain when the sun is out. We just makes me more cheery. So we're going to officially get started with our Truth About Your Core workshop. And before we start, I'll just give a little intro. My name is Tatianna, for those who are new to me. I know some of you I've known for quite some time, or some of you have been following me for a few weeks or months now, so you know a little bit about me. I hope you're enjoying my live workshops. I know I've been really enjoying them myself, especially because you guys are actually showing up live and coming and dedicating time, dedicating energy to healing and transforming your health in a positive direction. This is what keeps me going. I'm passionate, really passionate about preventative health and healing health. I've been a physiotherapist and a mindfulness yoga instructor for over 10 years. And, this is really my true passion, is helping people heal truly from inside out and be able to move with ease, live freely, confidently, trust their bodies. So thank you so much for coming with me on this journey and prioritizing yourself, and for being active in my communities. I'm happy to connect anytime. So if you're not already connected with me on LinkedIn, please connect with me, Tatianna Graham. Be sure to find me there. Again, you can join my free Facebook community, Redefining Aches and Aging for Women. It is a great place where we can be open and honest. I host lots of workshops in there too. Great place to ask questions. And there's lots of power in community, right? Power of the pack, my friends and I say. So we're in this together. So this is just a little taste. Today's workshop is going to be a little taste of the coaching that goes on inside my program, the Move with Ease method, where I help individuals start actually relieving their aches and pains, not through Band-Aid quick fixes, but truly digging deep, being able to heal from within, as I said, and just start living their lives freely, moving with ease and confidence. I saw a need for this with my clients. I was seeing clients over and over again, repeatedly, and I felt there was a need for a consistent program with proven methods and protocols and actionable small bite-sized pieces that actually work, not carving out lots of extra time because we're all very busy. So that's what my program was built out of, this passion to help people organically in their day. And my clients were repeatedly waking up feeling old, stiff, and sore, and they were feeling stuck in their bodies. And they needed a way out so that they could live the best second half of their life. So if you are watching live, we're going to start soon. You have questions, you can type them. If I don't catch it live, I will still answer them after, okay? Whether it's through a quick video or I'll type it in the comments, or you can message me if you're shy through email or private social media, like a DM. And I'm here for you. Your questions could spark a topic for our next workshop. And there's no silly question. So your question is probably someone else's question, right? So I hope you find as much value in this workshop as my clients do inside my program. And let's get started. So if you think about the word core just for a moment, what do you think of? You can type it in the comments or just like write it down if you brought a notebook. What do you think of when you hear the word core and like, got to work on your core, got to stabilize your core strength? Like, what do you think of? Well, I'll tell you what most people say or think is the six pack. Okay. And that is just one small piece of the pie. Okay. I'm here to share with you the truth about our core, which is there are layers. And the six pack that we all, aspire to achieve is just the front first layer. Okay. It's actually 8. It's an 8 pack. So it's called your abdominis. And it's rectus abdominis, sorry, and there's 8 muscles left and right for on each side, okay? That's actually just the first layer of your core, and it's not really what we're going to be talking about today. If we peeled away that layer, there's other muscles, your obliques or side abs, and there's 2 layers of those, okay? So again, we're taking away 3 layers here. The layers that we all really want to show off one day, but this isn't actually what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the inner core today. Did you know you have an inner core? Let me know in the comments if you have no idea what I'm talking about, or if you're like, yeah, I've heard it before, or my physio or my chiro or whoever maybe has told you a little bit about it before, or maybe you've done anatomy class and but you don't really know how to connect to it, right? So we have this thing called an inner core, and it doesn't involve the outer stuff. Okay, so all this stuff that we work so hard at, whether it's at the gym or in your home gym or maybe in a yoga class, that's great. But if you think about your body like a house, right? If you build really strong walls in a house for your house, but the foundation isn't solid and the foundation isn't built properly, it doesn't matter how strong those walls are, the walls will suffer. They will crumble. In the body's case, we start to get spasms. We start to get pain. We start to get overuse of the external muscles. So then they start to talk, which is stiffness, soreness, pain, tugging at the joints in your back, tugging at your hip muscles, tugging at different areas, which is a lot of the back pain that I see in my practice, whether it's virtual or in person, doesn't matter. Most of the back pain that I see, whether it's mid-back, neck, so your back is like the whole thing, right? It's from your tailbone to the base of your head. Neck, mid-back, lower back, all that stuff usually is because of muscle tension, stiffness, overuse of external walls of the house, and not enough awareness and connection to the inner core, which we will get to. I just want to explain why it's so important first. So if you are, for example, I see this a lot, if you are doing a core exercise, let's say sit-ups, and you're feeling your back straining, you're not really getting the benefits from the exercise anymore. You're just repeatedly straining muscles in your back, and you're not strengthening your core. Or maybe you're doing a plank. I see this a lot too, whether it's front plank or side plank, and you're not feeling like your core at all. You're just feeling shoulder tension, mid-back sort of shoulder blade pain, and then lower back right across the Sorry, someone's trying to call. Right across that lower back area, people talk about this line here a lot. That feels like it's straining, right? So then the purpose of your core exercise, whether it's sit-ups or planks or what have you, you're not really getting the benefits anyway. So why are we doing these kinds of things repeatedly, right? So what we need to do is dig deep and get into our inner core, learn about it, get awareness there, and build from inside out. Some of my clients that I see, we work on our core through breath, through the inner core, which I will teach you guys. But what I want to emphasize is it's so cool because, for example, I see a lot of postpartum. Oh, I can see comments. Bonnie says holds us up and keeps us stable. Yes, it does. The foundation, right? Yes, Bonnie knows because I've worked with Bonnie before. So for example, I've had many postpartum clients, whether they're 6 months postpartum or 2 years postpartum, and they're not happy because they feel like their belly is sticking out. People ask them if they're pregnant again. That's super annoying. And all we do is inner core work. Okay, I'm not even giving them planks and mountain climbers and sit-ups, nothing like that. We're just working through awareness and breath and engaging and relaxing the inner core. And they notice a big difference. Their tummy is flatter. And that's just so cool because they're doing the work. And it sounds so simple. It's not. It is simple, but it's not easy. And the reason is if you haven't been connected to your inner core for quite some time, it just takes time. It takes consistency. It takes practice. You know, if you were to learn an instrument, you wouldn't learn it in one go, right? You got to practice, and then practice makes progress. So all that to say, whatever you learn today, I hope is, eye-opening, helpful, and I hope you practice as much as you can every day. It doesn't have to be crazy amounts, but just even that mind-body connection once every couple hours of your working day. It is going to really help you discover those deep muscles that you do have, and it will help you elevate other parts of you, like your posture. Your breath is going to be more functional. Perhaps you have trouble with incontinence. That's going to help you too. Or maybe you tend to always throw out your lower back. By engaging and being aware of your inner core, I promise you, your lower back is going to be happier. Your mid back is going to feel happier. Your neck, whatever it is. I'm telling you, I teach this to all my paying clients. Okay, so let's start by closing our eyes. You can be seated, lying down, standing, doesn't matter. I just want you to have one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, and close your eyes. And feel your breath. Breathe in and out through your nose. And I'm going to tell you why this is important. Because your diaphragm, your breath muscle, is part of your inner core. So we got to make sure we have smooth, calm, even breathing, excuse me, in order to even do anything with our inner core. So keep your even breath going. And I'd love to know whether you type in the comments or tell me later, is your breath hard to feel? Is it shallow? Is it easy? Does it feel hiccupy? Okay, all that gives us information about what your diaphragm is doing. So if you think about your rib cage, there's a muscle underneath that is dome-shaped, and that's called your diaphragm. And as you breathe, your diaphragm should have this range of motion that's gently going up and down like a parachute. Excuse me, from parachute to trampoline, trampoline to parachute. Okay, that's your diaphragm. It's really hard to feel, but the best way, like I said, is to close your eyes. And if you can feel a soft wave in your breath, right? Like belly rise, rib cage expand, chest puffs a little. Exhale, chest softens, rib cages come down and in, and belly softens, right? If you can feel sort of this, I'm so sorry, something just got stuck in my throat. If you can feel this gentle, soft wave, then you know your diaphragm is functioning. Bonnie says uneven and heavy. Okay, so Bonnie, if I was working with you, I would focus you on this part first. I know it seems like, but I want to get to my whole inner core, but we got to get this breath even first before we can even really do anything. It's like if my bicep is all balled up and tight, why would I give you bicep curls? It's not going to happen, right? We need to get that diaphragm, that breath going, okay? All right. So now I hope this is helpful where you come into the steps, and again, don't feel discouraged. You're learning it maybe for the first time. It just takes some practice and time. Okay. So breathing, that diaphragm, that's part one. The second part of your inner core is called your transversus abdominis. It is a corset muscle. I call it the corset muscle because it looks like a corset. It's attached from your rib cage to your hip, all the way around you. And it doesn't wrap around itself. It actually attaches on multifidi. So if you looked at a spinal model, this is a spine model, you would see, if I was to show you the first layer of muscles, you would see little Christmas tree branches from one vertebra to the next one up, left and right sides. These tiny, tiny muscles all the way from tailbone to the base of your head. That's what the corset attaches to. So when your corset is firing properly, it fires properly those little postural muscles that go all the way up your spine. And those muscles are meant to be on most of the day. They're your postural stabilizers. So to be standing tall all day, we don't want to be firing our big back muscles, right? We call those big movers. Like, for example, your erector spinae, even your quadratus lumborum, those bigger muscles, they are for big movements. When we're just standing there, it should be those little postural muscles, the ones that are attached to the corset, that are keeping us upright. But you can imagine if you don't have awareness of how to use your corset and your diaphragm, the breath, right, because it's attached to that, then your little postural spinal stabilizers aren't keeping you in your neutral spine. I call it neutral because it's that nice little faint S-shaped curve. We call that neutral spine. Then what's going to happen? Your big movers are going to tense up to keep you erect because you're working and walking or whatever you're doing. And they're not built to do that all day. And that's a lot of the back pain I see. Okay. Then on the bottom of your inner core, so we talked about top, right? The diaphragm with the breath. We talked about corset. We talked about the back because it's attached, the corset is attached to the multifidi, those little Christmas tree-like muscles that run up and down the spine. Then you have a bottom. Okay, there's a bottom of the inner core, and that's your pelvic floor. Okay, or some people refer to them as the Kegel muscles. So if you think about your pelvis, the bone, it looks like a bowl, right? And the bottom of the bone is lined. It is not empty. And for short, I'll just call it front and back pelvic floor. Okay? Oh, I see that we are having a technical issue with LinkedIn. And that is good for me to know. I don't know why. Sorry for the pause, everyone. I'm going to check because I have someone watching from Australia who is interested and he woke up for this. So let me make sure. Sorry for the pause, everyone. Facebook group, I know you're there. Thank you so much for your patience. I think I need to troubleshoot for a second. Let's see. Sit tight for a sec, everyone. I'm so sorry. Sit tight, everyone. I will continue in a moment. Ooh, this is not fun. Shows 20 attendees. Okay, one thing. Oh, thank you, Renee. Thank you, Renee. Okay. Sorry, everyone. This was, okay. So I'm just going to tell George here. Everyone else seems to be able to hear me. This is the thing about tech, you guys, and I really appreciate your patience. I am using Restream. I'm a little bit new at it, so I can always do this again if you missed it. I hope that everyone is okay. I'm still live on my Facebook group. Yeah. And Renee is also, oh, great. Renee is confirming that she can hear me. Okay. So sorry, George. But you can catch the replay, George. I'll tell him that quickly. Okay. Okay. So sorry about that. I hope George can catch the replay. He woke up from this. He is in Australian time, so totally flipped upside down. George, if you're watching the replay, I'm proud of you for waking up, and I'm so sorry you couldn't hear me or see it. I don't know what happened there. Okay, so what we were talking about was the pelvic floor, right? And we have a front and a back. So the pelvic floor is the bowl-shaped muscle, right? Because it lines the bowl. Your pelvis is a bowl shape, and we have a front and a back, just for short. There's lots of layers, but we won't get too complicated. And the front, for guys, think of it as lifting the private parts or dropping the private parts. And then for women, I like to say, imagine that you are either blooming your vagina or closing the flower petals, okay? So if you can feel or kind of think about that image for a second, let's close our eyes. And as we inhale, the pelvic floor should be relaxed. So the front is a dropping feeling or a blooming feeling. And as you exhale, there might be a bit of a closing feeling or a lifting feeling, okay? This is tricky, so if you have no idea what I'm talking about, just bear with me for a second, okay? Just trust that if you have a relaxed, sort of normal, functional pelvic floor, when you are just quiet breathing, you're not working hard, you're not going to the bathroom, you're not having sex, like you're just at rest, right? You're just sitting there. There should be a rhythm of inhale, things are dropping or blooming. Exhale, there's a bit of a lift or closing of the flower petals. If you can't feel it, don't panic. Just trust that that's kind of the rhythm of breath with the pelvic floor. That was the front. Now we're going to talk about the back. So this is the cue I give my clients. Imagine you had a coffee bean, right? Small bean, and it's way up in your bum. Okay, way up. When you inhale, you're relaxed enough that maybe the bean might roll out. And then when you exhale, maybe there's a bit of a pull that bean back kind of feeling. Okay, if this is super strange to you because you've never done it before or thought about this area, then yeah, it's going to feel really foreign. But the more you visualize, the more you make these neural connections, I promise you, it will happen. But it takes work and it takes practice. I shouldn't say work. It's not work. It's your body, right? You want a good foundation. So it's worth it. So when you inhale, let me break it down even more. When you inhale, air is coming into your lungs. The diaphragm is going to push down because it's trying to create space for those lung lobes to fill with air, right? So your diaphragm is going to push down. Your belly, your corset muscle is going to go out a little bit, right? Because the lungs are taking up space now. So your corset is opening and relaxing, which relaxes some of those multifidi muscles we talked about. And then your pelvic floor, because your abdominal organs are dropping, right? Then your pelvic floor, it's like someone sat in a hammock and the hammock is like sagging a little bit. Bonnie says it's work when you're not using them correct, LOL. Yeah, you're right, Bonnie. I'm trying not to use negative words like it's work because people find work and words like work, chores, it's hard, right? So let's shift it in a positive way if we can, right? So can you guys kind of understand what I'm saying? Like when you inhale, because physiologically air is coming into your lungs, we got to create space for that air. So our diaphragm is going to go down, right? Our diaphragm is going to descend because air is filling in. And then the diaphragm pushes our abdominal contents down a little bit. And then the belly is going to expand. And then your pelvic floor muscles, it's like somebody sat in a hammock. The organs are just gently they're coming down a little bit. Okay. And when you exhale, there's a little bit of a lift, right? Because air is exiting. There's this suction effect of the diaphragm parachuting back up. Your rib cages have space to come down and in because the breath is exiting. And then your pelvic floor is going to maybe lift a little bit. Now, what I described was quiet breathing, right? So it's not like we're going, okay, so if I use my bicep as an example, my pelvic floor and my inner core is not doing like a heavy weight lift right now, right? When I'm just quiet breathing, there's just like a mild rhythm. Okay. And then once we get in tune with that, and can we make sure that we have that full range of motion, right? Again, I'm not going to give someone bicep curls if they're already super tight like this. What am I going to give them? Stretching, relaxing exercises to open the arm. Same with clients' inner core, right? Same with you guys and your inner core. If you're noticing, ooh, I'm like always squeezing the bean, or my corset, I'm always sucking in because, when I was young, I was told to sit up tall and suck it in. So if you're having trouble relaxing and opening and letting go, you have to start there, right? You're not going to start with firing, planks, sit-ups and all that because you don't have the range of motion to even do it, right? Like again, I can't do a bicep curl if I'm stuck like this. Nowhere to go. This is really interesting. So a lot of postpartum moms, even like years after, I see like clients who are in their 60s and they just say things like, oh, like ever since I had my 3 kids, like I always like can't hold my bladder whenever I jump, sneeze, cough, laugh, whatever. Like I just always trickle. And that's a very common thing I hear, but it doesn't have to be your normal. It really doesn't. Okay. So I'm still holding my arm like this. So if I had my bladder in here, right, and it's full and I need to void, but I'm not at the bathroom yet, how can I hold any more if I'm already tight? Is this making sense? Like if I'm already tight, I don't have any more room to squeeze and hold that muscle to hold my pee. So if I have a stress thing like cough, jump, run, sneeze, if something's stressed from the top, because when you cough, jump, there's stress from the top, it's going to push on the bladder and I don't have any room in the pelvic floor to hold my bladder. So I'm going to like let go a little bit and pee, right? So that is actually a very common thing that I see. So if you are in that category, I really invite you to really check, like, do you have full relaxation ability, function in your pelvic floor, in your breath? When you inhale and you're just lying down or you're sitting quietly, right? Are you able to bloom or drop the private parts, let go of the bean, release the rib cage and the belly into that full range? Because if you're not, you really need to start there. And it's not sexy. Like nobody wants to start there. Everybody wants to do crunches, planks, and like the stuff that gets you your six pack. But I promise you, if you start here and you do this like intentional, mindful connection, your tummy will start to get flatter anyways, right? Think of a corset. How does a corset work, right? It makes your middle smaller. So your natural corset can do that for you. And in fact, it's safe. You need it because it keeps you safe. If I do a bunch of crunches and I'm only using my outer core, but my corset is weak and let go, guess what? I can get a hernia. I can get like strain my back muscles, like a whole slew of negative things. So you really want to make sure that fourth layer is on behind you, behind the front and the sides and the other outer layers to like hold you stable and safe, right? Because otherwise, you could be doing a million sit-ups and your 8-pack is working really hard, but if the muscle behind it is not holding it together, it's still going to split, and open. Maybe you've heard the word diastasis recti. That's what's happening, splitting of the abs. And it's not because that person's abs, like the 6-pack, 8-pack isn't strong. It's because they're not engaging their deep foundational muscles to keep it all together. Okay? So I hope you guys understand that. And I really want to emphasize that if you're noticing tension or it's hard to let go of some of that, that you start there. Okay? Start with breath, start with awareness of all those components, and then can you feel that gentle rhythm? Inhale, relax. Exhale can maybe contract just 5%, or exhale is still relaxed. Okay? Because most of the time, when we're not doing anything hard, our breaths should just be soft and smooth, right? Which means our diaphragm, the transversus abdominis, and your pelvic floor, it's just like working together in this nice, gentle rhythm, like an ocean wave, okay? A calm ocean, not a stormy one. Okay. Now you're probably wondering, well, okay, but what do I do next? Like, how do I strengthen it? And I mean, usually it takes many sessions, but I'm going to give you the next step today, because if you do the work, right? If you do the practice, I should say, then maybe you'll be really connected and you'll find that you have this really calm breath and you're like, hey, I'm ready. So here's what it is. Okay. Like the next step would be, okay, now that I'm really relaxed and I can get that full range, right? Remember the bicep example. Now I'm ready to curl it, right? Now you're ready to curl it. So how are you going to curl it? How are you going to engage your inner core? So we're going to use our exhale to help us, because naturally, as I said, the exhale already engages it a little bit, or it should technically. So when we exhale, air is exiting your lungs, right? And now we have space. So as the air is exiting, can we try to lift the pelvic floor? So for guys, it's lifting. For women, I tend to say close the flower petals. Can we all squeeze the bean a little bit? And we don't have to go from 0 to 100, right? Like you can go 10%, 20%, 30, like, right? All the way to maybe like 80, 90. You don't even have to go to extreme. Okay, like when I lift a weight for the first time, I'm not going to grab the heaviest weight and like try to curl my bicep. I'm going to straighten something. So just be gentle, right? Like, can I feel that range of motion go from relax to exhale, gently pulling that pelvic floor muscle up. And at the same time, this rhythm of the core set pulling in, rib cages feel like they're coming down and in, and my belly 360 feels like it's a little tinier. Literally like a corset, right? As I exhale, can I feel, put your hands here, right, on my exhale. So put your hands a little bit on the lower ribs, a little bit on your tummy. As you exhale, relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. Can you feel your sides, your tummy like shrink away from your hands? And don't squeeze your shoulders or tense your neck or your jaw. Sometimes when we're trying so hard, some of these other muscles twitch and fire, but we're just trying to get that inner core, that inner stuff. From the outside, can't tell what you're doing, right? From the outside, you could be doing inner core and, you know, your colleague can't tell that you're exercising. That's kind of cool too. Okay. And then trusting that as you lift the pelvic floors and you're engaging your corset and you're exhaling, so the diaphragm is parachuting up. Guess what? You're firing your multifidi. Remember those postural muscles in your spine, right? Because you're engaging all those other components in harmony. Now your multifidi are on, activated, firing, and it's going to help you with your neutral spine and your posture. And who gets a break? Who's getting a break when we can engage this deep foundation? Maybe it's not who, what part of you? The big movers, your big back muscles, right? The ones that you see your massage therapist for. That's right, Bonnie, your big muscles, right? The ones that you come see me for. People love it when I dry needle their stiff, tight, golf ball feeling guitar string muscles, but you can give them a break too, you know? And this break, this awareness of your inner core, it is going to pay you 1,000 times back in your future self, right? Your future self is going to thank you so much because you won't always then have to deal with throwing your back out once a month, once a year, whatever frequency it is. You won't be worried every time you need to go for a big hike with your family or your grandkids, or maybe you won't worry about getting up and down off the ground, or maybe you won't worry about that big Costco shop and, you know, getting things out of the trunk and it's so heavy. Like, if you can get connected to your inner core, you're so much less likely to injure yourself for many parts of you. Okay. So, I'm going to hang out for a few more minutes. I hope this was helpful. I really love this stuff, so ask me questions. I'm going to jump into my LinkedIn in a moment to make sure I didn't get any questions there, and if I did, I'll answer them. I wanted to share something. Over the weekend, decided that I'm going to do a little like golden nugget from my 12-week program. So my 12-week program is called the Move with Ease method, but I took just the nugget from it, which is this inner core training, and I built it into a brand new 4-week program. It's the first time I'm running it on its own, separate from everything else. So it's still in beta mode, which means if you're interested, you can take advantage, okay? We're going to start April 5th, so you got to make sure you sign up by April 4th, and it's just 4 weeks. Super doable, right? You have access to you're going to have access to how to access your inner core and be able to build your strength from inside out. Okay, this is not a quick fix. It's not some gadget that you're going to wear or that you're going to put on and it's going to stop working after a while. This is your deepest set of muscles that will support you from inside out. And that means supporting your breath, supporting your digestion, your movement, your physical abilities, even your bowel and bladder control. Okay, I'm offering the 4-week training for $169. That's the whole fee. It includes 4 live coaching calls with me and 4 weeks of the lessons and the practices, all actionable. Again, I want you to be able to practice it daily, consistently, frequently, not carve out overwhelming time at the gym. Okay, so it'd be a great jumpstart for your health. I'll put the link for this 4-week training. It's called Inner Core Training 4 weeks. I'll put it on all my platforms so you can access the link there. And just be sure to grab it before all the spots are gone. So I'm super excited. This comes at a great time, I think, because we're transitioning out of winter and we're coming into spring. So let's bloom from the inside out together this spring, okay? So if you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to hang around for maybe a minute or two. And I would be so happy to answer anything. Okay, so Bonnie has a great question. Why do these core muscles slacken? You mean, like, I could answer that in so many different ways, Bonnie, but I guess what you're asking is, why do they slacken as we get older or like as time goes by? Because if you look at studies, research studies, children who have no physical disabilities, they naturally fire their inner core before they do something difficult. So for example, if a child needs to bend down and lift something heavy, or they're going to kick a ball really hard, like kick a soccer ball, and they've got like electrodes all connected to them to see which muscles are firing, those inner core muscles actually fire milliseconds before their big movers fire. And we call that in health world or physio world, anticipatory muscles. And I think that over time, as we age, we just start to develop, a little bit of bad habits like slouching. We tend to sit a lot for work now. And when we sit and we're not in a good posture, if you want to know more about this, you should watch my posture and breath workshop. Like, we can't even access our inner core sitting in this slouchy position. Okay, so I think it's just a cumulative of different things like bad habits, lack of awareness, and then for women, when you get stretched out if you have kids and you were pregnant, right? You got stretched, and then you had to go through labor, and perhaps you didn't rehabilitate your inner core after, right? A lot of us just went to our OBGYN 6 weeks postpartum and they are like, okay, you're good to go. And then you start exercising, but you didn't know about the inner core and didn't retrain that muscle. It's so important. Like, pregnancy and labor is not an injury, but it is something that shifted in this area. And we do need to relearn and reconnect. So I hope that answers your question, Bonnie, about why do these muscles slacken. Very long answer. And I could keep going, but I will stop. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming. Again, I will leave my 4-week training link for you guys to join. I'm really excited about it. I know it will help jumpstart your health so that you can just start moving with ease and feeling stronger and connected to your inner core, your foundation. And I look forward to seeing you in the next workshop. Okay, bye for now.